Sohail Jelva, 51, was a seasoned maritime engineer, a father, and a captain who once found peace at sea. After years at sea, he retired to coach football, leaving behind the ocean's call. But Jelva was forced back, his return not by choice but by command. The MV Matthew, a Panamanian-registered ship, became his prison. Once a vessel of commerce, it was now infamous for a major drug seizure. Jelva's authority stripped, he stood powerless, caught between the sea and the law. The ocean, once his freedom, became the stage for his greatest trial. The threats didn't come from shadowy figures on a dock. They came from Dubai, a city of modernity but also a haven for a powerful organized crime group. This group had reach, resources, and a chilling ability to instill fear. They targeted Jelva's greatest vulnerability, his family, living in Dubai. The threats were specific: death if he failed to comply. Jelva's duty to protect his loved ones left him no real choice. Fear became the daily bread aboard the MV Matthew. Jelva testified to the pervasive terror, compelled to follow every order. The crew were all cogs in a machine they couldn't control, but Jelva bore the heaviest burden. The cartel's head office in Dubai remained unseen, untouchable, yet their control was absolute. Orders, threats, and pressure flowed from thousands of miles away. Jelva spoke of feeling violated by these distant puppet masters. They invaded his life, career, and conscience without ever showing their faces. The cartel's power was chilling, a demonstration of modern organized crime's reach. Jelva's authority as captain was a cruel illusion. The real power lay with those who never risked the sea or the law. The crew's fear was real, but Jelva's was personal. His family's safety hung in the balance. The cartel's grip was ironclad, enforced by threats and technology. Jelva's ordeal was a lesson in how organized crime can hijack lives from afar. The MV Matthew was just one vessel in a vast invisible network of fear. The MV Matthew's voyage began in Curaçao, a Caribbean waypoint in global drug trafficking. Its true purpose was hidden: over 2.2 tons of cocaine worth 157 million euros concealed within its hull. This was no small operation, it was a major cartel consignment. The drugs were loaded at sea, far from prying eyes, using the ship's own crane in a clandestine mid-ocean transfer. Such tactics minimize detection and require a compliant crew. To further evade authorities, the MV Matthew used spoofing, manipulating its automatic identification system to broadcast false locations. While the AIS showed a phantom ship, the real MV Matthew was busy taking on its deadly cargo. The scale and sophistication spoke volumes about the cartel's ambition. Every move was calculated to avoid detection. The crew, under duress, played their parts in this high-stakes deception. The Atlantic crossing was not an adventure, but a journey into fear and criminality. The ship sailed on, its fate sealed by the secrets it carried. The cartel's control was chillingly modern, maintained through a WhatsApp group called the Deck Officers. This digital leash delivered orders, threats, and relentless pressure from Dubai. Every message brought anxiety: prepare the drugs, ready the lifeboat, await further instructions. The lifeboat wasn't for safety, it was a delivery vessel for cocaine, to be jettisoned if authorities closed in. Orders were explicit, backed by threats to Jelva's family. The crew was expected to obey without question. The cartel used psychological tactics, spreading lies to keep the crew isolated and fearful. Irish authorities cannot board your vessel, one message falsely claimed. Do not communicate with the Irish Navy. These were attempts to prevent cooperation with law enforcement. One crew member, Kumali Ozgen, was ordered to take the lifeboat with the drugs, despite having little sea experience. The cartel saw the crew as expendable pawns. The tension on board was unbearable, fueled by remote-controlled orders and constant fear. The WhatsApp group was a lifeline and a noose. The crew's every move was monitored, every hesitation punished by threat. The digital age had given organized crime a new, terrifying reach. Irish authorities had received crucial intelligence. A trap was set for the MV Matthew. The Irish Naval Service vessel L.E. William Butler Yeats made contact, ordering the ship to stop and prepare for boarding. The response: defiance. The MV Matthew increased speed, attempting to flee. The crew tried to escape to Sierra Leone, a desperate move revealing their guilt. The original plan to transfer drugs to the Castlemore had already failed. The trawler ran aground, its crew rescued by the Navy. As an Army helicopter hovered overhead, the MV Matthew swerved dangerously, trying to prevent a boarding. Orders from Dubai arrived via WhatsApp. Destroy the evidence, burn the cocaine, use paint thinner. Smoke poured from the lifeboat as the crew tried to burn the drugs, but the Irish Army Ranger Wing operatives were undeterred. They boarded the ship, secured the crew, and extinguished the fire, saving crucial evidence. The operation was a dramatic showdown at sea, a testament to law enforcement's resolve. The cartel's remote control was no match for boots on deck. The MV Matthews journey ended not in escape but in capture. The evidence survived, and so did the story of a desperate, doomed voyage. The crew's final acts were of panic and destruction, but the law prevailed. The Atlantic, once their shield, became their prison. The Irish authorities' preparation and courage turned the tide. The MV Matthew was seized, its secrets laid bare. The cartel's plan had failed spectacularly. Jelva and his crew were now prisoners of the law, not the sea. The story of the MV Matthew became a landmark in the fight against organized crime. The masterminds behind the MV Matthew were no small-time criminals. Detective Superintendent Keith Halley described the Dubai-based group as a global, resource-rich criminal enterprise. Their operations spanned continents, orchestrating complex logistics with chilling efficiency. The MV Matthew was just one tentacle of a much larger beast. This cartel is linked to notorious figures like Eden Tito Gakanin, leader of the Tito and Dino cartel. Authorities believe this group is part of a super cartel, an alliance of major criminal organizations. The super cartel includes the Kinahan group from Ireland, the Dutch Makro Mafia, and Italy's Camorra. Together they control vast drug trafficking and money laundering networks. Eden Gakanin, a Dutch Bosnian national, has been convicted in absentia for trafficking cocaine into Europe. The U.S. Treasury sanctioned him in 2023. He was arrested in Dubai but not extradited. Reports suggest he remains at liberty in Dubai, a city that has become a sanctuary for some cartel leaders. The Kinahan family also resides there despite U.S. sanctions and bounties. Dubai's allure for organized crime is its wealth, anonymity, and legal complexities. The MV Matthew case exposed just one layer of this global criminal web. The fight against these networks is ongoing and daunting. On June 3, 2025, Captain Sohail Jelve stood before Dublin's Special Criminal Court. He pleaded guilty to possessing €157 million worth of cocaine for sale or supply. Jelve's testimony painted a picture of powerlessness. He was captain in name only, controlled by faceless puppet masters in Dubai. The threats to his family made his ordeal distinct and terrifying. Several crew members also admitted their roles: Ukrainians, Iranians, Filipinos, Dutch, and British. All were ensnared in a Dubai-orchestrated plot. Jelve described being forced into crime, his long maritime career now tainted. His retirement as a football coach had been shattered. The court heard of his fear, regret, and unwilling complicity. Jelve's words were heavy with the burden of his ordeal. The crew's stories echoed his, caught in a web spun far from the sea. The MV Matthews voyage ended in confession, not denial. The law had caught up with the men, but the true puppet masters remained at large. Jelve's fate was sealed, but his story was a warning. The cost of crossing paths with a global cartel is measured in lives, not just in drugs. Captain Jelve is more than a name in a court record. He's a father, a man whose life was hijacked by a cartel's threats. The crew came from diverse backgrounds, each with their own story, many likely acting under duress or desperation. The cargo, 2.25 tons of cocaine, could have devastated countless lives across Europe. Addiction, crime, and violence are the ripple effects of such shipments. The profits fuel further criminal enterprises, spreading corruption and fear. The human toll stretches from coerced captains to addicted users and to communities terrorized by cartel-funded violence. Dubai, a city of luxury and modernity, hides a darker reality as a hub for international organized crime. Despite recent efforts to improve oversight, high-profile cartel figures still find sanctuary there. The UAE's removal from the FATF gray list signals progress, but vulnerabilities remain. Cartels exploit shell companies and free zones, laundering fortunes with ease. Modern cartels use encrypted messaging and global networks, recruiting operatives from all walks of life. The MV Matthew case is a chilling snapshot of this global underworld. The fight against these elusive enemies demands unprecedented cooperation and innovation. Jelve's ordeal shows the profound human cost of this battle. The war against organized crime is relentless, fought in shadows and across oceans. The story of the